Hi, welcome to my Echion tutorial. Today I will teach you about this fucking spiky haired guy. I guess first things first is we should talk about his gauge. When he uses an ability, this bar goes up and it maxes out at 100. He can't use his ultimate until he gets all the way up to 100. After which he can start doing his ultimate move. But that's his main gimmick, essentially. He has a bar, he goes into a mode, and then he's like a slightly different character. Right, so his Q is just a skill shot projectile. And his like main way of generating his bar, outside of the unique weapon skill. The only thing you have to know about it is that it has a Q2 and it slows, and it has like actually really good range and pretty good scaling too, I think. Yeah, the second attack has really good scaling for how big it is. So if you're building like AP, it deals a shit ton of damage. So his W is a shield that consumes about half, let me check. Yeah, okay, exactly 50 of his bar to create a shield. It has this clause about restoring the VF it spent to begin with, but really the only time you're gonna use this is to either if you're like escaping from a bad situation and need the emergency shield, or to actually actively reduce the amount of gauge you have to, you know, manage it. Next up is his most fun ability, his dash. So when he dashes towards someone, it creates this little like clock around whoever he hit first, rather. When he does it on someone that doesn't already have that thing on them, then the cooldown instantly resets, which means he can, you know, do that, and then now it's on cooldown. The main thing to know about this is if you're dashing through multiple people, even if one of them is marked, as you can see, the cooldown still reset when I passed through someone with the clock again. Wow, that's crazy. How does that work? Well, it specifically says if you, like, it's like unintuitive, but if you read the tooltip, it says that hitting an unmarked enemy resets the cooldown. So it can be any enemy if you're hitting multiple. This is why you see Echions doing this. I don't have items, so I'm dying, but that's why that works. And then we have his ult. He technically has his ultimate from level 0. When he gets up to full gauge, he can do it. And based on his weapon color, it has a different effect. After you reach Overflow, your gauge starts draining steadily. But if you hit people with your ult, it'll go back up slightly. As you level your Q and E, they will start generating more VF gauge on hit. Generally, I don't keep active track of how much they increase the gauge in my mind. I just kind of like look at the bar here and see if like it seems close. Generally, if it's around 70 or 80%, then like another Q12 will, you know, get you up there. This is only a level 1 Q, so it's like 24 already. And then if you can add another dash to it, that's like 40. It's not that hard to go into Overflow when you want to. He has this passive that I don't even remember existing, where his skills do more damage for the amount of VF he has. So like your 0 gauge Q12 will only deal 250, then, you know, it'll do 350. Pretty cool. I'll start explaining some of the intricacies of the Overflow mode. So when you go into Overflow, the cooldown of his dash actually resets entirely. This is like the biggest fucking cheat mechanic that he has, in my opinion. Because he gets a free dash that's supposed to be conditional, essentially, but like a bonus one. When his Overflow runs out, he gets this debuff called fucking Exuviation, where his Q has no range. Like, I think it's actually melee range, but it's still a skill shot. And his E becomes like very, very short range in comparison to how it usually is. which basically means there is a risk to going into your overflow mode when you don't want to. Sort of similar to how Dylan can get drunk, but it happens after you're at your strongest with the character. So I said his main gimmick was his gauge, but really it's his weapon. He has 3 options to choose from when you get to level 4, I think. Yeah. His weapons have different passives, like they have different stats as weapons that he equips, and they affect his ultimate ability and also some passive traits. His purple weapon is built around auto, so it has more basic attack amp and attack speed on it. Also has biotic infusion, because why not? It's really fucking strong. All of his weapons are pretty strong. Once you upgrade the purple weapon, it also gets another passive where when you hit people with his ults, they get reduced armor. He kind of has like a bonus helix effect on top of it. In purple mode, when he hits people with his skills, he gets more of this passive stacked, which gives him more attack speed. And in purple mode, his R doesn't animation lock him. Also, during purple mode overflow, he gets this like second auto effect, this formula, more attack damage per hit. It's kind of like any other like double attack trait in the game. So his red weapon comes with Omni Siphon on it, and the upgraded version gives him Flame Barrier during overflow. In his red mode, he also innately has Lifesteal on his skills, as you can see. And his overflow actually just lasts 4 seconds longer by itself. And his ultimate does a second wave that knocks people up. So like while he's maneuvering around the team, he's doing this shit to knock them up. It's pretty annoying. And then he also has Flame Barrier, of course, if he has his weapon upgraded. Right, next up is his blue mode. This is kind of the most fun one. It's how you do the one-shot build. The blue ones have CDR and upgrade into having CDR cap. And it also gives them swift strides during overflow. Right, the upgraded blue one also just has less downtime between his bursts. It's reduced by like 50% when you get the upgrade. Also in blue mode, all his skills just do more damage. This is why, as blue Echion, his Qs are actually really potent as pokes. Well, I have no items, so it's kind of hard to tell. But like when you're full build, his Qs just become insane. Another passive is that his W has shorter cooldown, which is kind of helpful because this is a build where you wanna stay in your normal mode the most due to how strong Q becomes. And also his ultimate slows people briefly. Okay, let's get into some bonus stuff. After you get the first upgrade on any of his weapons, you can fuse them with either a Force Core or a Blood Sound. The only thing the Force Core does is, for all of them, is the same thing. It just gives 30% tenacity. This means you don't have to look for items that give tenacity if you want it in your build as like a bruiser or tank. The other option of Blood generally just increases the unique effects that they all have. For the purple one, it gives more attack speed and adds armor penetration, and also increases the damage that the biotic infusion deals. For the red one, it makes the flame barrier effect stronger and also gives more Omni Siphon and more health, yeah. For the blue one, it increases the CDR cap and makes Swift Strides deal more damage. And finally, I'm going to talk about his weapon skill, which is also unique. It does different things based on if you're below 50 VF, above 50 VF, or in Overflow, or in Exuviation. So below 50, it just gives you 45 for free. You generally use this when you know you're going to be in a fight soon, but don't have any build up from attacking mobs or anything. When you're above 50, it reduces it by 45 and reduces your remaining skill cooldowns by a little bit. The cooldown reduction aspect of it would mainly be useful for his E. Outside of that, it's just another tool besides his W to help him manage his gauge if he wants to keep himself from going into overflow. And during overflow, he reduces his cooldowns the same as he does when it's above 50. gives himself a movement speed boost and increases the duration of the overflow as well. So if you want to keep going, or if you have like a downtime between fights generally, or if you want to chase someone, this is like the most commonly used one. And when you're in Exuviation, doing it just reduces the debuff by like half its duration.